In our first headline, why pop star Halsey invested in High Brew Coffee. And in our second headline, the number one thing buyers regret about purchasing their home. Those two headlines, plus the big idea tying them all together, and so much more on today's Money in the Morning. Welcome to Money in the Morning. I am Bobby Rebell from the Financial Grown Up Podcast, coming to you from my very grown-up kitchen in New York City. My partner, Joe Saul-Sehy, is away today. We'll explain what's going on. He's doing some really cool stuff. This, though, is the podcast where we cover two recent stories ripped from the financial press. Not only do we read them, like some other podcasts, we get into why they really matter for you, for your wallet, and for what you can do to invest, to save, pay down your debt in the most effective way. And then here's where it gets really cool, guys. We wrap it all up in one big idea at the end of the show that you can take with you to have a richer day and a richer life. All good things. Today's show is sponsored by Lemonade Insurance. Lemonade reverses the traditional insurance model. With Lemonade, everything becomes simple and transparent. Lemonade takes a flat fee and pays claims super fast, gives back what is left to the causes that you care about. Go to stackingbenjamins.com/lemonade for more. All right, good morning, everyone. As I mentioned, my partner in crime here on Money in the Morning, Joe Saul-Sehy, is not with us. He is normally coming to us from his mom's half-finished basement, but he and his mom are packing up to go to Orlando, Florida, for a podcasting conference called PodFest, where Joe is going to be speaking along with a lot of amazing people. So we miss Joe, but that is a good reason to miss the show, at least this once. But hopefully we'll get him back very, very soon. In the meantime, let's hit some headlines.
Here are today's Money in the Morning headlines. Ready, set, go.
All right, guys, let's go to the first headline, and it is from Fast Company. And guys, this is a big exclusive for Fast Company. I've never interviewed this pop star, but she is mega famous, super hot right now. And this is the headline: why pop star Halsey invested in High Brew Coffee. And the writer here, by the way, I should say, is Jeff Beer. And again, it is a Fast Company story. The article begins, she started out as a customer, and now she, meaning Halsey, is making the relationship official. Just a couple of weeks ago, we saw Halsey follow up her chart-topping single, Without Me, by pulling double duty on Saturday Night Live as both host and musical guest to rave reviews. Not only did she throw off some impressive comedy chops, she also painted a giant portrait during her second song performance, in case we needed a little more evidence to make the case for her elation towards pop star polymath status. Halsey has become an investor and brand ambassador for Austin, Texas-based High Brew Coffee. It is not the artist's first foray into brand work. Last year, she teamed up with Yves Saint Laurent and performed at Victoria's Secret's fashion show in December. But it is her first time taking a stake in a commercial partner. In speaking with Halsey, she says she comes to the investment first and foremost as a fan and a consumer of the product. She says, quote, "Given my lifestyle with constantly traveling, High Brew was an awesome discovery for me. I could pick them up from the supermarket and store them in my fridge, and because they're packaged in a can, they are conveniently portable," she says. Quote, "I was a big energy drinker before, and switching to the cold brew can, which is again easily portable, kind of satisfied that former habit, but in a healthier way." The 24-year-old has long been her own brand creative director, controlling her music, merchandising, touring company, and publishing. And she believes the only way for an artist to be successful in any brand partnership is to be a genuine customer. Pay attention to that, guys. Genuine customer. I think that's really important here. The article goes on to say, quote, I only care to invest in products that I actually use in my daily life because I believe it's disingenuous for an artist to advocate for a product they don't really use, she says. Quote, when High Brew started becoming a part of my daily life, and I started recommending it to people, sending it to friends, and asking other people to use it, I thought, well, I'm doing so much field work for this brand, I might as well see what I can do to get involved. When I met with a company and saw what they were about, the relationship was kind of immediate. The conversation was basically, hey, I love your product. Let me help you out. And it goes on to talk about the fact that she compares working with a company to collaborating with another artist, as she's done with the Chainsmokers, Khaled, and Lauren Jurgi. I just completely botched that. I'm sure that's really famous. I'm showing my unhipness here. But anyway, she goes on to say they have their own agenda, their own mission statement, their own brand that they need to get across. So we need to come together to find the common ground between these two entities. I'm not the only type of person that High Brew is ideal for, but I can present that product to people who are like me, which is maybe a unique demographic for them. Cold brew is a product young creatives and young professionals are interested in this age, and I think I represent a lot of those facets being a young business person. She considers herself, guys, a business person, always on the move, needing to keep my energy up. So if I can advocate for them and say, hey, this product has worked for me, then maybe other people with my similar lifestyle will want to try it too. Okay, first of all, I'm not sure how many people have similar lifestyles to Halsey, so let's just leave it at that. But nevertheless, people are on the go and they do need energy, and so that is relatable. Couple quick takeaways to start off. First of all, and I love Rebecca here makes an excellent point. She says investing in what you know and use is often a good thing. And that's something we hear about from a very famous investor. And I'm going to look through the comments from our live Facebook audience. For those of you listening on audio, by the way, we do tape this in front of a live Facebook audience, which you can join. Go to facebook.com/iStackBenjamins. We usually, if you set alerts, you'll know when we're taping. And so we have our live studio audience here. I wonder if anyone will guess who I'm thinking of that often talks about investing only in products that you know. And we've actually been talking about him a little bit on the show recently because he invested in Kraft Heinz, which has had a bumpy road lately. Any guesses from the audience? Anyone? I don't know. We do have a comment from Kathy talking about the fact that she likes anything pertaining to coffee, especially coffee with twice the caffeine. You can't go wrong. All right, so I'm going to reveal the person that I'm thinking about is Warren Buffett, because Warren Buffett is famous for talking about the fact that he invests in companies that he understands and that he knows, and he doesn't like to invest in a company he doesn't fully understand. Like, I'm not talking about Warren necessarily, but I think we had a computer delay. We had 3 different people, Dylan and Rebecca, 2 people. Dylan said it twice though, that both guessed Warren Buffett. So yeah, okay, you guys get a gold star for that. But anyway, a lot of people that are very good investors don't invest in things that you don't understand. And a recent example of that has been Bitcoin and things like that. So Halsey, in this case, is really being careful about her investing. This is the first time that we know of that she has taken a stake in a product. And I know Dylan's upset about autocorrect on his comments. But so join us here on the Facebook Live so you can see all this live happening. But anyway, you need to invest in products that you understand, and definitely as important, if not more so, do not invest in things that you don't understand. And the recent Bitcoin situation is evidence that it's really important to know what you're investing in and be careful about that. And of course, investing in things that you do use, like Halsey, is a good thing. Let me finish going through a little bit more of the article because it brings up one more point I really want to make. The article goes on to say, the dynamics of influencer and celebrity marketing has largely become a murky, and this is their word, guys, hellscape of overpromotion and artificial Insta enthusiasm. It may be an overused word, but Halsey goes back to the idea of authenticity and how it works best for the artist, the brand, and the fans. I think it's important that we have a musical artist who also can do comedy, as we saw on SNL, so definitely multi-talented, but she keeps referencing her to herself as a business person, and she keeps referencing to her brand and the coffee brand and really using these marketing terms. And I think that that is an important enlightenment to hear a musician speaking this way, because that is not something that we necessarily heard a generation ago. And the way that the music business has evolved to be much more artist controlled, in that they can control their branding more, they can control merchandising, they can make more direct money through touring. The way that that business has evolved is very interesting, and hearing a young artist speak about this is very compelling to the way that successful artists really are able to monetize what they do, because monetizing what you do, especially if it's not a concrete product that you sell, like a CD, if it's something where the music to a large degree is available for free and you're making your money around that, the fact that she is thinking of her brand as a brand and a product, but also of where she's going to be putting the money that she makes to diversify her portfolio, I think is also impressive from this young pop star who calls herself an anti-pop star. She, in the article, they call her pop star, but on her Instagram, she says she is the anti-pop star. And just to round it out, some more quotes from her. Quote, I talk to my fans about products that I love, even when I don't have an investment or relationship or incentive. So this is just another product for me that I talk about and have talked about even before having the relationship. I think it's about keeping the conversation candid and explaining why it really works for you and showing how you use the product in your daily life rather than following some sort of text copy sponsored post formula. So that's a dig at so many of the mega Instagram influencers that have been paid to endorse products and put up these posts endorsing them, when the truth is they may have never even heard of the product before they did the post, and they may be endorsing something that they don't really know a whole lot about. So that is going to bring us to our big takeaway from headline number one, and that is know it before you own it. And it's really important to do your homework when you make any investment and really properly vet the people that you are entrusting with that you are trusting to give you their opinion. So just because you see a celebrity endorsing something, maybe look a little closer, maybe a little more skeptical, find out if they have a stake in it, which, by the way, of course, if they've a stake in it, there's other complications with that. And it's important to know that with anyone that you give money to. If you are giving money to an investment advisor, know how they get paid. We talk about that stuff all the time, but just understand whether the person is being authentic and take that into consideration when making any investment or any purchase. All right, let's take a couple of quick comments from our Facebook Live audience. As I mentioned, we do tape in front of Facebook Live. And if you want to join us, you can do so facebook.com/iStackBenjamins. All right, we've got some comments. First of all, we have Robert commenting. He says, quote, I have no idea who this pop star is, but it is nice to hear they said they invest in what they know. We seem to hear more about athletes, musicians, and actors who hit rock bottom than those who invest wisely. That's really a great point. A lot of them do. I feel that a lot of celebrities take extremes. Some are very good investors, and we don't hear about that. We don't hear that much in the press from Ashton Kutcher, let's say, talking about the various technology investments that he's made. But I know he's very active in the VC community and making a lot of investments in companies. We know famously Bono from U2 is an investor in a very large fund that invests in companies. So absolutely a lot of celebrities do, but I would guess, and I think just an anecdotal observation, the ones that are the most successful, they talk about their acting or their music, but they don't always talk about their investments. They want to be behind the scenes and let the investments sort of speak for themselves. But if you dig around a little, a lot of celebrities do have successful investments. And then also, of course, a lot of them completely flame out and just make terrible decisions and blow their money. So hopefully now that there's more information available, more education than there was a generation ago, as I was referencing with the musicians, hopefully more celebrities will be more proactive about taking care of the money that they do make, or making sure that they do get paid when they do create content. Because as I said, so much of music is being given away these days that you really need to use those other income streams, as is the case of Halsey, and invest in things and different other ways to earn money from your craft. All right, Rebecca says, one thing I also appreciate Joe for is using most of the products from our sponsors. And that is true. Our sponsor, Lemonade, which we're going to talk about again in a few minutes for today, is a product that Joe used when he moved recently back to Michigan. So that's absolutely true. And Jacob comments, I guess Jacob is an Apple user. So, Jacob, thank you for commenting. He comments, okay, all Apple stock. So, Jacob obviously loves his Apple products. And Elizabeth chiming in here. Great job. Love the discussion. Well, thank you for the support. All right, let's move on to our second headline, everyone. This one, I wonder if people are thinking what this might be. And it is a piece from Market Watch from my dear friend Katie Hill. It is the number one thing buyers regret about purchasing their home. And it's very careful to just read it correctly because I sort of misunderstood the headline the first time I read it. It's not that they regret buying the home, it's the thing that they regret about purchasing their home. So there's a subtle difference there. All right, so Katie Hill's piece in Market Watch begins with what to beware of when buying a home. Home ownership often comes with a side of regret. Fully 44% of homeowners say they regret some part of buying a home, according to a survey of nearly 1,500 homeowners released Thursday by personal finance site Bankrate. The number one thing that they regret, ready guys? Not understanding how expensive the maintenance, repairs, and other hidden costs would be. Everyone's going, at least the homeowners are, yeah. Okay, the article goes on to say, indeed, these hidden costs often surprise them. According to a survey from American Express, nearly half of Americans were hit with an unexpected expense in the previous year. One of the top 3 unexpected costs was home-related expenses, and a survey released last year from personal finance site NerdWallet found that 44% of people who had purchased a home experienced their first unexpected repair within a year of closing. Quote, this can be a rude awakening. Folks just don't have that kind of savings, says Bankrate analyst Deborah Kearns. Indeed, they don't. NerdWallet found that nearly 1 in 3 homeowners say they don't have any money set aside for home repairs and improvements. Many other people won't even have enough. Of the Americans who have a savings account, the median balance is just $5,200, and many repairs will cost far more than that. So, what should you be stocking away for home repairs and maintenance? Well, John Bodrozic, sorry, I probably butchered your name, John, the co-founder of digital home management firm Zada, again, apologies for the mispronunciation, recommends between 1% and 4% of the purchase price of the home. Quote, if the home is less than 5 years old, then 1% is the better number because the home's equipment, appliance, and building materials still are relatively new. But if a home is 20 years or older, then the 4% number is more realistic because many of the home's equipment, appliance, and building materials have reached the end of their useful life and you will need to replace them. So here's the math, guys. On a $300,000 home, you would need to save $3,000 to $12,000. Kearns recommends you save this on top of what you already put in your emergency fund. Experts typically recommend anywhere from 3 to 12 months of income in an emergency fund. Plenty of consumers think that insurance will cover the really big things. I mean, that was my actual first gut reaction, was that insurance would cover a lot of it. So anything, beyond the small things would be covered, but that's not always true. So the article goes on to say that's not always true. Scott Johnson, an insurance agent in Marin County, California, notes that your standard homeowner's policy generally does not cover floods or earthquakes, though you typically can get additional coverage for these things, as well as pests, mold, or neglect. However, you can protect yourself against some of the maintenance and repair costs. Quote, don't skip the home inspection, says Kern. This can reveal current and potential issues. Bodrozic, again, sorry with the name, recommends creating a list of recurring tasks. Not only does this help you extend the life of things in and on your home, it can also lower utility bills and make your home safer by reducing fire, toxic mold, and other risks. So I'm getting a lot of thumbs up on this. So let's just read some audience comments and then I'm going to give my 2 cents. Keith comments, so you should research before you commit. Today and tomorrow, I am researching, love the sense of humor here, Bloody Mary and craft beer. Good thoughts for a Monday morning, Keith. All right. We have some guesses for the big idea, which I'm going to hold off on reading for just a few minutes. And Mike Anderson is giving a big thumbs up to this as well. So thank you, Mike, for saying that. So let's talk about some of the thoughts about this piece. First of all, I think that it is important that people not be naive about the true cost of home ownership. It can be much more expensive than you think. And when you talk to somebody who's buying a home for the second time, I have a friend who's actually moving into her second home. I think that you are a lot more prepared because you know about the things that you don't even know to ask about. And that's an important thing, is just having a list of the things to ask about and getting that inspection before you do so. The other thing that you can do that a lot of people don't do because it can be a little awkward is talk to the neighbors. Ask them about the neighborhood. Are there things that happen that you should factor in? For example, do you have to pay for garbage pickup? What happens if you're in a cold weather area and it snows? How often has there really been? We talked about flood insurance, things like that. Do those things really happen? Or were there any other things that people should know about? And really go through the home with your inspector and ask them what you need to ask. When was the roof might be in fine shape, but when was it last repaired? What has gone on in the house that maybe you don't know to ask about that you should do? And just get a checklist, I would say, from friends that own a home of all the things that they do on an annual basis, on a monthly basis, things that you need to look at because, again, we can all be very naive about what we need to do. So my takeaway for number 2 is meet the neighbors. Actually get out in the neighborhood, do the grassroots research and ask people what you need to know about home ownership and what they've learned, especially if they're also, if you're in a starter neighborhood with starter houses. A lot of the other people were probably first-time homeowners as well when they came in, and they probably learned a lot. And most people will be pretty happy to share that information with you, and you'll make some friends too, which is always a good thing. All right. Oh my goodness. All right, we got a lot of funny comments that we're going to get to in just a few minutes. And the big idea, we have a lot of guesses for the big idea. Oh my goodness. All right. Some are serious, some maybe not as serious, which is all good. All right. Today's show, before we get to the big idea, we have a very important sponsor because when you're thinking about all the different things that can go wrong in your first home or any home or your apartment, or even if you're renting a home, you need that downside protection. You need to make sure that you're protected from whatever may happen now that you are a resident, either, like I said, of a rental or your home. So that is why we love to work with Lemonade here at Money in the Morning. And they did sponsor this show. They reverse the traditional insurance model, and everything using Lemonade is just much more simple to work with. I've looked at the interface a lot and spent some time with it, and it's really easy to use, very intuitive. If you have a claim, you can literally film a little video and send it to them, just explaining what's happening. So you're using technology to kind of make it a lot more human, if that makes sense. And what's also great is after the flat fee, they will donate any extra money to causes that you care about, which adds a really nice touch to the product. So if you are interested in learning more, go to stackingbenjamins.com/lemonade. And if you happen to sign up, if it's right for you, they will send us a little thank you. And we also thank you because that helps us keep podcasting here at Money in the Morning. Okay, let's get to the big idea. We have a number of guesses from our audience. So let's see. All right, we have so many. Okay. Big idea. First from Dylan. Dylan's guess is know the full picture and long-term plan before making an investment. Okay, I think that's a really good guess. That's not exactly it, but we'll just keep going. Let's see. We have Rebecca with her big idea guess. She says know before investing or spending. Okay. And just for fun, I think we have I thought we had one more, but oh, Dylan has a bonus one, just for fun. But actually, this actually makes sense because it's important to be caffeinated and full of energy when you're going to do any of this stuff, so you pay attention. So Dylan's second big idea guess, said with humor and love, I hope, Dylan. Big idea, a pound of coffee before reading 100 plus page contracts. Well, definitely you would need that if you have to read that. Hopefully you have a good lawyer that will help you out with that so that you don't have to literally read it all, but maybe you really should because it is your money. So I always advocate for actually reading all the print. All right, the big idea. Sharing is caring. And I say that because it's important to share your good experiences and your bad experiences with products, with whatever's going on in terms of your financial life. That's appropriate to share, I should say. But that goes, first of all, Halsey, love that she's sharing things that she actually cares about, that she actually uses. That's really important. She has been a brand ambassador, but she's not actually investing in them. And she's very clear about the difference. And she's very honest and I think authentic when she does that. And she did take some digs, for example, at some of the Instagram posters. I think of the he's not a Kardashian, but he appears on the Kardashians. One of the Kardashians' ex-boyfriends, Scott Disick, that famously put up a product and literally cut and pasted the instructions from the brand to cut and paste it in there. So it was very clear it wasn't really an authentic post. I think Halsey is very cognizant of the mistakes that others have made and is being very careful not to make those mistakes and to be authentic. And then at the same time, share with your neighbors. I mean, if your neighbor is moving in down the road, go say hello if you feel comfortable and talk to them about home ownership and be helpful to your neighbors, all within safety and all those appropriate things. But it's really good to share your experiences of what to expect when you do make an investment like in a home, because there are so many unexpected things that can happen that people don't even know what to ask about. And we can all help each other. So that is the big idea. Sharing is caring. And with that, we're going to wrap up. Oh, Kathy is adding, thank you, Kathy, in our live Facebook audience, that she also had the same guess as Rebecca. You guys came close, but no gold star on the big idea. Hopefully next time. But thank all of you. Thanks to everybody for listening. You can catch Joe on the Stacking Benjamins show. He will be back very soon. Please check out Financial Grown Up for my stories with high achievers. And until then, if you want to live a rich life, be a financial grown up. Bye, guys.
This show is created by Joe Saul-Sehy, hosted and produced by Bobby Rebell and Joe Saul-Sehy, is engineered by Caden Thompson, and all put together by a pack of well-trained ferrets down here in Joe's mom's basement. You'll find Bobby at the Financial Grown Up Podcast and Joe at the Stacking Benjamins Show. Go say hi to them there, too. Online, visit us on Twitter at Average Joe Money and at Bobby Rebell, or come join a live recording at our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/iStackBenjamins. I know you already know this too, but Money in the Morning is for entertainment purposes only. You should not act on anything recommended by a bunch of entertainers in a basement or even a Manhattan kitchen without first consulting your financial advisor. And second, dude, have your head examined. Have headlines you'd like us to discuss? Send them to joe@stackingbenjamins.com or put them on our Stacking Benjamins closed Facebook group. This show is a collaboration of Stacking Benjamins LLC and BRK Media LLC. Copyright 2019. All rights reserved. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor Doug, and I reserve the right to always say, we'll see you next time back here on Money in the Morning.